on vinyl and vision.
Hey folks, thank you for tuning in to the latest episode of Vinyl and Vision. I am your host, Jimmy Drab. Welcome. Tonight's guest is John Roman. John Roman is the drummer for the band Microwaves from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. If you are listening to the show, you will be listening to a selection off of the 2018 Via Weightlessness album released by 31G. If you're tuning into the video, you hear no music. Sorry. This is on YouTube, and so there's licensing issues with music, so I can't use any music in the video. But it's an extra short little clip. It's only about half an hour long. It's just a condensed version of the entire episode, which you can listen to the entire episode via the audio streams anywhere you find podcasts. And John's a super cool man. Been a pleasure to talk with him about Voivod's fourth album, Dimension Hatröss, which is kind of a cool metal-ish record. I say metal-ish because Voivod's not really totally metal. They're totally metal, but they have the music is a lot more sophisticated than just that. So we get into it, listen to it, you'll figure it out. You'll hear what we're talking about. And otherwise, just wanted to announce very quickly here and very proudly say that Psychic Static has released its first record by its first band, The Hammer Party, which features Dan St. Jakes, who was a previous guest on Vinyl and Vision from Landed and Onlyville Sound System and other bands like that, Six Finger Satellite. And Joe Propertier is a drummer. He was in the band Scarce. He was in Silver Apples for a brief stint, I suppose, I've been told. And the Beavis Front. Andy Newman from, he was in the band Glazed Baby. And Justin Sylvia. I hope I said that right, Justin. If I'm sorry, I apologize. But Justin is this is his first band, actually. But he does great. It's great work. It's a great album. It's available now through Bandcamp. The digital is available now in its entirety. And the vinyl pre-sale is currently up there. This is my cat, Christoph. Hi, buddy. The vinyl is available for pre-sale right now. So if you buy the pre-sale, you get the full-length album digitally downloaded for free. And the shipping is free, too. We will mail it USPS Media Mail for free when it comes in. Expected date is January 30th. It could be earlier than that. And if it is, it will go to you then. Hands down, no questions asked. And I mentioned that album because I've been working with John on that record. He helped with the artwork, the logo design, and the layout of the album. And so it was a really great pleasure to work with him and to be able to speak with him today on the show about a really cool record. So, without further ado, here's my talk with John Roman. So, because we're talking about your art and... from what I've seen, I really like... Have you done all of the artwork for your bands, or did you just start doing that recently?
It's something I've just started doing.
Okay.
Like that Microwaves record,
yeah,
the most recent one, that's actually...
Via Weightlessness?
Yes.
Yeah, no, it looks great. So how did you do this?
Most of what you see are actually pieces of little, like model parts and antenna parts. There's like actual photographs of them.
Oh, really?
Merged together. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
So somebody else asked me about that. They wanted me to draw something for them. And I had to explain to them that I didn't draw that.
Oh, I see.
Put that together from photographs of real things and sort of put a bunch of filters on it and kind of eventually bent it into that shape.
Right. Oh, cool. That's so funny. I mean, I can't tell. I mean, like, it looks like drawn art. Pretty wild, man. So you, so this is your first attempt making artwork for a record? Or have you done other ones?
Let me think. I've definitely done the layouts for other things. And I think that was the first one that I went and did everything for.
Oh, okay. Well, but you can. But like, do you have that physical ability to actually like, draw and paint or anything like that?
Oh yeah, yeah,
You just because
yeah.
you just use the computer, so therefore, whenever you do something by hand, you have to render it into the computer and then, you know, work with it from there.
Right, right, right. But, I mean, like, yeah, I mean, I can pick up a pencil and, I don't know, draw, you know, draw a chair that's in the room or, a coffee mug or
Mm-hmm.
kind of a person, I mean, that's more difficult.
Yeah. Well, did you do what's behind you in your room there?
Oh, no, 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 no. You mean this over here?
Yeah, yeah.
No, my friend Jeff did that. I used to live with him.
Oh, okay.
And we played in some bands together years ago. I didn't even realize you could see that on there. But yeah, he did that.
Yeah, I can't see all of it, but I see a good portion of it. I mean, it's pretty cool looking.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, you're in Pittsburgh, correct?
Yes.
Cool. How's Pittsburgh?
It's pretty nice.
Yeah. Are you a Pittsburgh native or did you move there?
No, I'm from here.
Oh,
Like
so
I'm from the suburbs, and I'd say maybe 25 minutes to a half hour away.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
you guys have been through Providence often. I feel like I've seen you guys all the time. Like, you think the Microwave's name has been here fairly often.
yeah. Providence is always good.
Yeah, no, I bet. I mean, especially for the style of music. I mean, that's kind of something that thrives here, I think.
Yeah, I mean those people get it. I mean, not everybody is going to, but I don't know. I think there's something in the water up there.
Yeah, I think so. I can't put my finger on it either. But I mean, we just have a good, we have a good scene. You know, a lot of good bands, a lot of good musicians. I mean, because I think
Yeah,
that you kind of got connected to some of the Providence scene through some of the same bands that I'm friends with, like the guys from Arab on Radar, obviously back in the late '90s, early 2000s when they were still together.
yeah, mid '90s.
Mid '90s. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I know those guys since '96.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, my first band started playing shows with them, and those were the first times that I had gone anywhere and played out of town
Yeah.
because of those guys.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they helped us out a lot.
Cool, man. Well, so I wanted to talk a little bit about your band, so and your musicality, like kind of where you grew up from, like musically speaking. Like you're the drummer for Microwaves, and for Night
Yeah,
Vapor, right?
well, Night Vapor is kaput.
Oh, okay. When did that happen?
Yeah. Oh, about a year ago.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Huh.
And then there's also Brown Angel, which is off and on depending on when our guitar player singer is in the country or not.
Oh, that makes things difficult.
Yeah, yeah. But it's cool when it happens.
Yeah.
So we never get sick of it.
Right. Right. So the Microwaves is the main band for you, basically.
Yeah, yeah.
Huh. So you're the drummer for Microwaves. When did you start playing drums?
I probably started playing drums in '95, I think.
Okay. And did you play anything before then, or was that your first instrument?
I just kind of dicked around with guitar and bass, and friends of mine and I were starting a band, and we were always looking for a drummer, and we couldn't find one, and there just happened to be some pieces of a drum kit in the basement that we were practicing in, and I knew how to play drums well enough that I figured, oh, okay, I'll just be the drummer until we can find one,
Mm-hmm.
and then it just ended up being that I was the drummer.
Drummer by default.
Yeah, I was the drummer by default. It just stayed that way. So.
Yeah. Do you mind that? I mean, did you prefer, like, did you aspire to just kind of be more of a, like, bass or guitar player or something like that?
At first I did. Like I said, I dabbled a little bit, but I wasn't very good.
Yeah.
I think maybe I was at my desk, I was probably able to play around with things enough to get my idea across to other players in the band.
Right, right. Well, you're a great drummer. I mean, from what I'm hearing off the new record, or the newest record, I should say.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, very, very good, good work. Obviously you have influences from like kind of metal and punk and thrash, kind of
Yeah.
little avant stuff too. Like some Captain Beefheart is in there.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So actually, and when the record that you chose for tonight was Voivod's Dimension Hatröss.
Yes.
I don't know if I pronounced that exactly correctly. I have a horrible French accent.
I don't know if you did either.
Well, that's
I think
cool.
it's gibberish.
Well, actually, one of the facts is that their drummer Michel Langevin, who's also known as Away, is the main artist for the band. It has been since the very beginning, actually. And
Right.
I guess it was. I thought. Well, actually, I guess I might be wrong here, but it says that it was pronounced by singer Snake Dennis Belanger in French as the word atroce, meaning terrible or horrible. So it was kind of a mix of the word hate, which is where the Hatröss comes from.
I've never known that.
Yeah, well, I fucking try to do some research and try to figure out stuff about these records. So yeah, it was basically a mix of the word hate and atroce in French, I guess, meaning terrible or horrible. So
Oh, like an atrocity.
correct, exactly. So, but it's their own made up word, but you get the
Okay.
picture, yeah. Yeah. So what was your first experience with Voipod like?
I was probably about 15 when I was starting to get into metal. And, it's like you mentioned, like Iron Maiden, Metallica, kind of all the obvious entry points.
Yeah.
And there's some kids in school that, were turning me on to some other more obscure bands like Creator, Merciful Fate, and, Venom, things like that. And they always seemed pretty good to go to as far as, what to check out next. And I heard one of them say something about Voivod one time. And I asked something about it, and they said, "Oh, well, they have a new record out. It's not so good. It's just too weird."
Oh.
And I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, I really won't waste my time then." And then somebody else mentioned them a while later. I was like, "Oh, maybe I should check this band out." And it's funny because I went and bought their first record, which sounds a lot more like a weirder Motorhead.
Okay.
And I loved it. I thought it was great. And I was, and then I was thinking, well, how could this band turn into something that sucks if this is this good?
Right.
And so I got to mention Hatröss, which happened to be the current record that was out. Maybe like a month later. And yeah, sure enough, I thought it was weird. And at the time, I wasn't really like totally getting it. It took a few listens for it to click. But ever since that, it was always kind of like a gateway album for me.
So you were getting into metal, and you were about 15. So what kind of music were you listening to before you got into metal? Like what? Nothing? You didn't listen to music like at all?
Pretty much.
Really? Like what about like in the house, like with the parents and stuff?
My parents listened to stuff, but it was all like 50s music.
Oh. Wow. So
It was all like Chubby Checker and stuff like that.
so then how did you discover metal? Because I mean, from an experience of like not really being exposed to much of anything rock oriented, like how did you get right into the metal stuff?
It was the 80s, so I was really into video games.
Okay.
And I was hanging out with kids that hung out at arcades.
Okay.
And I was hanging out because of the video games, and because of that, I picked up on heavy metal.
Oh, okay. Huh. So there's some kids that you see at the arcade often, like on a recurring basis, and then they start dropping you like mixtapes or something, be like, hey, you should listen to this.
Yeah, you know, like they would have their radio with them, you know, like they'd have their boombox and like, you know, would hang out, you know, on the curb out front and they would play their tapes.
Oh, okay.
Um, but yeah, but before that, I mean, I had sort of like a very, very casual interest in music. It was kind of like I'd hear a song by Run DMC and think, oh, that was really cool.
Yeah.
You know, but never really like think too much about it, you know, too much about it to pursue it. Yeah, and then, you know, I'd hear something like Twisted Sister and think, God, that's really funny, but there was nothing musically to click with me.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, oh, heavy metal's stupid. And I just kind of wrote the whole thing off based off of, you know, bands like Twisted Sister and Motley Crue.
Right.
And maybe about a year or two later, someone played me some Iron Maiden stuff, and then I was like, oh, this is like playing Dungeons and Dragons with my, you know, friends in study hall.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I get this. This is like comic books. This is like science fiction movies.
Right. Right. Oh, that's funny. Huh. So then that must have just been like quite a culture shock to maybe even your parents and your family, because you must have become like a metalhead now. Now, like you're getting in it.
Big time.
Yeah, you get like what the ripped up denim and like growing the hair long, stuff like that, or
Yeah. And I had to hide my music too.
yeah. Was it like your parents didn't agree with it? They didn't think that you should listen to it?
I wouldn't say that we had a Christian household, but maybe some leanings where they thought they were.
They had some kind of formality, religious formalities type thing. They didn't think it was proper or pure to listen to metal.
Yeah, it just wasn't going to fly in that household.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, I can see that. I mean, metal is one of those things. It's a very much a dividing factor between people. You know, like
Yeah, it is.
because metal is like a way of life, really, right? I mean,
For some people.
yeah. I mean, like the guys that you were hanging out with in the arcade. I mean, those guys were metalheads, right? They were like all in.
Right.
So I mean, like
Yeah.
if
They
you
were metalheads. I was just a nerd.
right, okay, that's the difference. But you
Yeah.
could see the influence. You could see like what was so special about it and what was good about it, without becoming completely immersed in that world.
Right.
Yeah, and were you buying stuff on vinyl then, or
Now, mostly CD at that point.
yeah, it was,
But I would buy stuff on vinyl if that's how I found it. Because I knew that I probably wasn't going to find another format.
yeah, right, yeah. So I mean,
There-
are you a big vinyl collector now, or are you still kind of like
Really, I would say my collection is modest.
yeah,
You know, like I might have anywhere between like 500 to 800 records, where I know there are other people that I know that have just thousands.
right, yeah,
You know, they had to set aside a whole room in their house just for their vinyl.
right, yeah. I'm not quite there either.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just foster the records. I don't really hang on to them for very long.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's get into the record a little bit.
All right.
So, Dimension Hatröss is the fourth studio album by Voivod, Canadian heavy metal band. It's not totally fair to say call them just heavy metal. I think they're really a prog rock
No.
band.
They're kind of prog, kind of punk.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things that I found cool about Dimension Hatröss, and it also kind of opened me up into the idea of checking out other things, was that there was this weird melding of things that you wouldn't normally have thought went together at all.
Right.
Because you wouldn't, especially at that time in the late 80s, you wouldn't have thought like, oh, like guys that are into Yes and Pink Floyd are also into bands like, you know, Nausea and Epicomix.
Right.
You know, looking like this, you know, this crazed, like, you know, punk rock.
Yeah.
But there it was all happening at the same time on that record.
Right. Yeah, like what's some weird bills that you've been on before?
Um, oh Christ. Well, I mean, like we opened for the Frogs
Oh, really?
one time.
When was
Yeah,
that?
that was maybe 2002,
Okay.
2001, maybe,
All right.
maybe even 2000. I don't know.
Okay,
It was
but
one of our first shows, actually.
really, wow.
Yeah, it was very early on. But trying to think some other oddballs. I mean, we've we've kind of shared bills with just about a little bit of everything. I'd say except maybe country.
Oh yeah. Well, do you think
It's probably
that
the one thing. It's probably the one thing that doesn't work and is probably never going to happen. Well,
thoughts
the
on
other thing
that?
you might not know is this is also a concept record.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, I know that. Um,
Okay.
that's that adds another whole layer to them as well. So because it's not just this record, like the first three. Well, this is the fourth one, right? So yeah, so all of these
Right.
four records were basically part of the concept.
Right.
So that's crazily like intriguing too, because it's just like that they were so into this thing that they created. Because even the name Voivod actually was basically that character that Michel Langevin away created,
Right.
correct?
Yeah,
Um,
even though they got the name from Bram Stoker's Dracula.
oh, was it? I didn't find that information.
Yeah. It was Voivod with an E at the end. So I don't know if it's the same pronunciation or not, but I think they just took the E off because it just looked better for them.
Oh, okay, yeah. But and then Voivod, the Voivod ended up mutating into Krogel. How do you say that name?
Oh, horrible.
Korgel. Yes, Korgel,
Yeah,
the cyborg mascot of Voivod.
yeah,
And so basically, it's the story of that character from the first record through this one. Cool. So you have the songs, but you haven't recorded yet. I was actually going to ask you if you guys were planning a new record soon because the last record came out in 2018. It's been a couple of years, I guess, almost.
yeah. We were kind of getting ready to record until COVID hit.
Right, right, yeah. So that kind of put a damper on things.
Yeah, and we really haven't done anything since.
Well, I mean, you kind of couldn't. I mean, it's not. That doesn't. It wasn't for any lack of trying, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Well, that sucks. Well, so I mean, so what do you like? What do you know about that for right now? I mean, like, I mean, restrictions are loosening. I mean, I know that so there are some studios that are open. I mean, do you have any like kind of plans to start doing that like soon or?
Well, our concern isn't the studios or places to play or anything like that. It's more to do with getting each other sick.
Oh, okay.
Because I lucked out uh, job wise, being that I'm the only person I have to deal with on a day-to-day basis.
Right.
Uh, the other guys in the band, not so much.
Yeah.
Our guitar player installs alarm systems uh, and different electronic things in hospitals and schools, and so there's a lot of part of the week where he's around tons of people
Hmm. Right. Oh, that
that
sucks.
he has no idea who they are.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So he's kind of high exposure risk.
Yeah,
That sucks. Jesus. I think. I mean, we're not at the end of the album yet, but I think that it probably like, and I don't know for sure because I didn't examine every lyric, but um, probably gets to the point where he just wants to wipe out the entire world. Like he just doesn't see um, any
value.
yeah, like any value or any positive aspect of like the glimpses of humanity that he experiences.
Hmm.
Um, it's a little rough. But I mean, in the grand scheme of like the sci-fi, storytelling, it's cool. I mean, like I can get on
Yeah.
board with it.
Yeah, I always got the impression that this was like tribal convictions, chaos mongers, and technocratic manipulators were all like songs that were based on three sets of characters
Okay.
at play.
Yeah.
And I'm really not sure what these people are.
Yeah. Hmm.
Unless they're just like the government, um, or just sort of, like the makers of all the rules,
Oh, okay. I
uh,
see. I see what you mean.
the owners of everything.
Well, it sounds like certainly something that they would want to touch on, considering they're trying to like kind of cover all their bases. Like
Yeah,
Korgel has to experience everything that there is on Earth. So that is
yeah,
certainly one of the things that he's gonna need to kind of like deal with and um, experience to determine whether or not this dimension is you know worth having for whatever reason. Yeah, no, I don't. I mean, I don't know for sure because I don't know the record well enough. But I mean, I think that
yeah,
that's kind of what he's getting at. Like, based on the artwork, like based on what you see on the cover, you see this guy like this, very demented cyborg thing that looks mean as hell.
right.
He looks like he's not here to play games. I mean, like this guy is a
Are you
fucking
sure?
he's a killer. Look at him. He's a murderer. I don't even know what's happened with his hand if that's what it even is. I mean,
I,
like,
I, I think that is, I think these are either people or their souls, and they're going into him.
oh, he's like churning out things. Like this is almost
Yeah,
more of a
or they're coming out or they're going in there.
okay. Hmm.
I'm
Interesting.
not sure.
Cool, man. Hey, John, it's been a pleasure, man. Thank you for taking the time.
Likewise.